What's up guys? Today we're going to talk about car battery chargers, so let's go. There's a few reasons why we would be buying a car battery charger. One of those reasons would be if the car has been sitting in one spot for a long period of time. You don't want the battery to discharge all the way down to a level where it can actually damage the battery. So batteries are usually charged while the car is actually on, and the alternator would be spinning and therefore charging the batteries. Now, when the car is just sitting there for a long period of time, there's certain things that slowly discharge the battery. Eventually, if the car sits there for too long, the battery will get down to a point where one, you won't be able to start the car, and two, you can actually damage the battery. So one of the things we can do is to connect up a car battery charger. Now there's different types of car battery chargers, and I've got two of them here. Now they're both the same brand, which is Super Cheap Auto, which is an automotive store here in Australia. Now there's some key differences between these two units. Now I originally bought this small unit, which is actually a 3-stage 12 volt 1.6 amp. This other charger, which is the same 12 volt charger, but it's a 7-stage 10 amp battery charger. This charger is good for things like motorbikes and just keeping a level charge on your battery on the car. So it can charge the car battery, but it's not recommended if you want to actually get a full charge into your battery. And for example, the battery which you've seen me replace in a previous video, a larger battery designed to start the V8, so obviously it requires a bigger charging unit. So one of the things that when I was using this charger to actually charge this car, that it would say it's fully charged, but the voltages were actually quite low and it wouldn't kick over very hard. It actually, you could see the voltage drop off when you tried to turn the car over. So the battery wasn't getting a full enough charge because there wasn't enough current output from this small unit, which makes sense because it's only 1.6 amp. So what I've gone and done is bought this bigger unit, which does cost a little bit more, but to get something that is a good size is worth that little bit extra to spend on. It's one of those things that you tend to only buy once or twice and you can use for a long period of time. And even if you have spare batteries that you're storing, you can leave one of these units attached and it will cycle through, and there's all these different stages. It keeps the battery maintained and gives it a longer life span, which is what you want if you're going to be storing batteries or even getting the most use out of that battery for a long period of time. Right, so, and the ways in which you connect these chargers, both very similar. This smaller unit actually plugs directly into the power socket, whereas the bigger unit actually has a cable or a lead that would plug into your power point, and you have the switch on the wall which will actually turn both of these units on and off. Now what you want to make sure you do first is actually connect up your terminals first before you turn the power on, and also turning the power off. You want to make sure that first you would attach the leads. Now we have a positive and negative, so the red is the positive, black is the negative. You connect those to the terminals on the battery and then switch on the power. Now in the other way around, you would switch the power off and then disconnect the terminals when you're done. Now this smaller unit has the clips that would go onto the battery, whereas the bigger unit has these bigger alligator clips, and also it comes with ring terminals as well if you want to install those permanently. So if you wanted to, you could actually have these hardwired on, and then all you have to do is plug in the connector, which is attached on this lead as well. So this would come off, and you would then attach the other one or vice versa. Connect the leads up, switch on the charger. And as you can see, the unit will go through its stages. And this one has an actual display on it, whereas the small one just has an LED light. This will just go through its operation. And if there's an error or you've connected up the terminals the wrong way, it'll actually display up here, and you can then refer to the manual as to what you've done wrong. But most likely it would be either that you've connected the clips onto the wrong terminal, so you need to switch them over to the correct one, or the battery has a problem where it isn't actually charging at all, and that would most likely mean you've got a stuffed battery that you'd need to replace. So one of the key things, just make sure you've got the right size charger for the batteries that you're trying to charge. You should be able to find that out when you go to your local automotive store to pick up one of these chargers. There is a bit of a guide there at the store as to what size batteries you would be charging as well. But let's have a look at the voltage levels of the first charger and the second charger. So this is the voltages we got from the smaller charger at its full charge. So it was actually saying it was completed, and we're getting about 12.8 volts on that. So not as high as what you'd expect. Now, if we compare that to the 10 amp charger, as soon as I connect it and turn it on, you can see that the battery's only about halfway full and it's going to run through its stages. Now, if I look across at the multimeter that's installed on it, you can see that those voltages are already rising up, so 12.9 already. So it's going to start pushing that battery higher. Now, if I come back after an hour or two, I can see, here we go, we're up to 15 volts, and that's basically nearly fully charged that battery. So if I have a look back on the charger, we can see there it's nearly at 100%. So now we're going to disconnect the charger and turn the vehicle on. And beforehand, when I tried to start the car, it would start to die off on the voltages as it was ticking over, and it was quite difficult to start it up. So let's try again now with the battery fully charged. So there you go, the battery being fully charged kicks over the car a lot better. So if I'm not driving the car regularly, I'll make sure to keep the battery on charge via the charger. Alright, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to stay up to date. But thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.